The ones we haven't got are the ones that I want to focus on. There is a growing sentiment that data is the new oil, which means that it's going to be the place where nation states compete, and it'll be something that, you know, the United States has some catch up to do. We are the world's leader in technology, but I think we weren't really paying attention when the idea of data as the new oil really took hold. And obviously the Russians and the Chinese have taken advantage of our lack of coordination. I think the most important thing is for the country to have a coherent, thoughtful strategy that encompasses all aspects of technology and not go after this in a piecemeal fashion. And above all, not try to do it from the really weakened position of a country involved in a trade war. That, I think, just makes everything a lot more complicated.
TJ, to what extent is the U.S. still the global leader when it comes to innovation and technology, and is that position defensible?
We are by far the global leader. The position is defensible, and it's also to continue on under attack. And we focus on China today because China has an active effort to get a hold of American technology. I'll give you one example. If you want to make things and sell them in China, you have to make them, in many cases, you have to make them in a Chinese joint venture factory, and you have to transfer your technology to that factory, and that's what you have to give up, your technology. And that's not okay. So we have to prevent stuff like that happening. By the way, I heard about Korea, I heard about Samsung and Apple, same thing. Samsung is an inveterate copier of cell phone chips and other things.
TJ, if that's the case, what you're saying, that we need to be mindful of the importance of this technology, then is the White House, is Washington going far enough? Is this posture the right way to get at that? Is CFIUS the right committee?
I think the effort is at about the right level. The downside of all this is once you have these committees, they are unwieldy and they are slow, and they prevent American companies from doing business. It takes months or quarters or sometimes a year to get something through. So I think President Trump's methodology of banging on the table and threatening certain things in order to get reasonable solutions is about the right level right now.
Roger, is this much more of a national security issue than, say, steel or aluminum? And should the president have just focused on these really core, nationally important areas and not perhaps ruffled as many feathers as he might have done with things that are less important?
Well, I'm not terribly clear on exactly how important steel and aluminum are to us today. What I can tell you, Wilfred, is that both China and Russia are behaving as though data is the new oil and technology is the most important strategic thing in the world. And at a minimum, we need to respond to that. And as TJ just said, and I think that's a really important point, there are a lot of aspects of this problem. And the Chinese policy of requiring you to essentially license to them whatever technology that you're selling into their country, there's nothing about the announcement we have today that goes after that problem. And in fact, even restricting investment doesn't prevent them from getting access to U.S. technology, because we have lots of people who work at our companies. And in the past, there have been cases of other countries and even China getting to employees and getting them to bring trade secrets out. This is a really complicated issue. I don't think there is a simple solution. And, go ahead.
Well, I'm listening to what you're saying and thinking about, again, the effort for the U.S. committee to review these deals refers in most cases to the Chinese wanting to make investments here, whereas what you're talking about is more when an American company wants to make investments over there, they say, great, but you can't own the whole thing and we're going to take your technology. So, what can be done to get at that problem? Is the U.S. now going to use this committee or others to say to American companies, no, you can't pursue opportunities in China if those strings are attached?
So, Kelly, I think the problem here is that as a country at the national level, we haven't thought through the issues well enough to know what our priorities ought to be. And so I'm with TJ very strongly on this notion that the goal should be to allow American companies to remain at the forefront of innovation. And in order to do that, you have to have the proper incentives, but you also have to protect the things that are likely to be stolen from them. And you have to first understand what are all the ways that could happen, what are all the ways technology could be used against us, And we just have to be really thoughtful. And the point is, we're not going to be able to do this one piece at a time. We should step back, take a little time, and make sure that the smart people like TJ, are looking at the whole thing and sitting there and going, wait a minute, there's 75 different things you got to worry about. Let's have a plan that takes the 10 most important ones and make sure we have those buttoned down, because I don't even think we've had that analysis yet. And as a technology investor, that alarms me.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.